everyone, my name is Madison and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the hidden fees of college. College is expensive, y'all know. Everything adds up, and these are a few things I wish I would have taken into consideration before I chose CU. Of course, I love CU, have no regrets. Everything worked out as it should, but these are just things that have really added up, got really expensive that I never thought about before college. I'm not going to ramble as much as I normally do. I'm trying to ramble less, so let's just get started. If y'all know anything about Boulder, you may have heard how expensive it is to live here. Now, it wasn't until the end of my freshman year that it really hit me about how expensive rent here is. And this is something I never ever thought of or never considered, never crossed my mind. How much rent is in the city I'm looking to go to college in. Rent in San Diego, San Francisco, LA, it might be so much more expensive than somewhere like Wyoming. And yes, maybe you're gonna be like a computer science major and make all this money and stuff like that. But as a student, that adds up. And of course, rent in the real world typically reflects how much you're getting paid. So you might be paid more for the same job in San Francisco than you are in Wyoming, but as a college student, that doesn't matter because you're not making any money anyways. Your college city will greatly affect your rent, greatly affect how much money you're spending, how much money you need to save, how much you need to work, things like that. For example, the typical 1-2 bedroom apartment in Boulder, one bedroom typically runs around $1,400 a month or so. And a 2-bedroom is typically $2,400, $2,500, $2,600, somewhere around there depending on how nice it is, how close to campus it is, things like that. That adds up. So if you are trying to live in your own room and not share a room in college, you might need to take that into consideration. Or on the other hand, I have friends living literally a block away from campus in Wyoming, and they're paying $650 for their own room in a 2-bedroom apartment. That's like unheard of here. You can typically get below $800 or $900 for your own bedroom, whether that's in a house or an apartment, if you are either A, looking to live in a house a few miles off campus, maybe you're living in the basement, maybe it's not super big, something like that. Again, you are going to be a decent ways away from campus, or if you're looking into a very simple minimalistic apartment, something that doesn't have a backyard or a porch, anything like that, doesn't have a dishwasher, it probably won't have washer, dryer, things like that, probably little to no like living room or kitchen space. Just something to keep in mind. Your rent will add up and will greatly affect how much money you're going to be spending on your whole college experience. Number 2 is commuting fees. Y'all, this is something, again, I never considered. Kind of bounces off of how far away you live from campus. Yes, you might live a little bit farther away and save yourself some money there, but then you might be looking at buying something like a boosted board or a bike or an e-bike or something like that, which gets expensive. Or you're looking at bringing a car to campus, in which case, of course, you're paying gas, and of course, then you're paying for the campus parking fee, which at CU typically ends up being about $200 a semester. That may or may not sway your decision, and can also help impact and help you decide, again, where you want to live, how much you want to budget for rent, things like that, because that all does add up. Now, I do pay for a parking pass. I honestly don't live, I live really close to main campus. I don't live terribly far away from the aerospace building. It's about a 20-25 minute walk to the aerospace building, but in my mind, I can justify the parking pass because if that 20 to 25 minute walk means I can work an extra 40 to 50 minutes of my shift, it pays for itself in like 3 or 4 weeks. Just something to keep in mind. And y'all, in today's economy, gas prices are out of control. Again, I'm just gonna keep using Wyoming as an example, or Nebraska. I was in Nebraska a few weeks ago. The gas in Nebraska is like $2.80 at the time, and it was like $3.90 in Boulder. Not so comparison. And then on the other hand, I have friends in California who are paying $5 for a gallon of gas. That is nuts. That adds up. And again, if you are commuting a lot, whether that's commuting home to campus, something like that, that will add up and definitely make a difference in your bank account. Another thing I find kind of silly, but also kind of makes sense and just something I didn't consider, is how different colleges cost different amounts of money. And I'm not talking about CSU versus CU or Stanford versus Purdue. I'm talking about the college departments within that university. So the College of Engineering and Applied Science costs significantly more a semester than the College of Arts and Sciences. Same thing, business costs more than arts and sciences. I can kind of see it because of lab materials, things like that. Research labs take a lot of money. Facilities take a lot of money. Those sorts of things. I can see why the engineering courses would cost more than something like, I don't know, maybe psychology. I don't know if psychology does labs. I literally have no idea. But I've got to imagine something where you're doing a lot more hands-on work. You need really powerful computers in the buildings. You need a lot of resources, a lot of tools and labs and machine shops, things like that. Your tuition is going towards paying for those things. So it kind of makes sense, but it is something to consider how the engineering tuition is $3,000 more a semester or something like that than the rest of it. And now, don't quote me on those numbers because they change every year because tuition goes up every year, which we just love. But that is something to consider. There are certain degrees like physics where you can get a degree in physics from the College of Engineering or the College of Arts and Sciences. And then up until this last year at CU, you could get a computer science degree in arts and sciences or in engineering. If the degree itself and the classes aren't that different, is it really worth paying the extra few grand a year for a BS versus a BA? Something to consider. That's all up to you, but it definitely adds up. Traveling back home is also something to keep in mind. Now, I think this might be a little bit more obvious and people consider this quite a bit more than they do maybe some of these other things. But if you're trying to go home 3 or 4 times a year and you need a plane ticket, or if you're trying to drive home every other weekend and it's a 3-hour drive, especially with gas prices these days, that'll all add up. Traveling back home and commuting home to see family for holidays, summer, whatever it is, does cost money, and depending on how far away you are, will also definitely sway how much money you're spending and can maybe sway why you want to go to a school or not, or just what else you have to budget for. Now, if y'all are not currently in college or you're applying to college, you may have seen when you're looking at colleges and tuitions that they say etc. fees or something like that. Or books and fees or something like that, and they estimate a pretty large number, like $4,000 a year for this books and fees, whatever the hell that means. Your books will not cost you $4,000, or I really hope they don't. If they are, find them online, buy them used, rent them. Your books should not be costing you that much money. But these literal hidden fees are ridiculous, and you get charged no matter what. This is something that kind of makes me mad and is really quite frustrating, and there's just not a whole lot you can do about it, but it is something to keep in mind. When I say the literal hidden fees, you will be charged like $182.12 a semester for the rec fee, or you might be charged $210 and some change for like the bus and transportation fee. They're always super weird numbers, have a ton of odd change, seem to make no sense, and it's for things that you are paying for regardless of whether you use or not. That's things like the library, the school technology, like of course Wi-Fi makes sense, but things like the school computers and stuff like that. The buses, you might never use the bus, but you're gonna pay for it. The rec, stuff like that. I think it all makes sense, and I think you should take advantage of it, but the things that make me mad is, I love CU dearly, but I took an online class in the summer of 2020 in the middle of COVID, fully remote. Campus was not open, and yet I'm paying a rec fee. And I couldn't even use it. The rec wasn't even open, but you're still paying for it because you're a student and whether or not somehow or another they're gonna get their money to renovate the rec, pay the people that are cleaning it and keeping it in good shape over the summer even though it's not open, stuff like that. Absolutely ridiculous. There's always some fee that's just really annoying, really frustrating, a construction fee, something like that. But there are literal hidden fees that you will see on your tuition bill every semester, but that they don't disclose before you pay it. Or before you enroll there, I should say. Really annoying. Utilities are also something else that adds up. I have one of my roommates moving out, and I also am considering living on my own for senior year, and utilities will definitely skyrocket this next month and if I'm on my own next year. If you've never had an apartment or something like that, you might not know what utilities are, but you have to pay a separate fee on top of your rent normally for things like water, sewer, and trash. And then oftentimes you have to outsource your own energy and pay for your own energy bill, again, apart from your rent, as well as internet. Now these fees cost different amounts no matter where you live, so that is also something to keep in mind. And it also varies with how many people you're living with, because if you have to pay $150 for water, sewer, trash every month and you live with 6 people, you're going to be paying a lot less per month than if you live with 2 people because it will be split in half. Just something to keep in mind, but that definitely adds up and does make a difference. And then last but not least, this is not something that I don't think I had to pay this. If I did, I must have missed it, but I've definitely had friends who've had to pay this, and that is orientation fees. Again, another stupid hidden fee that you cannot get out of, but most first year students for their college will have like an engineering, like College of Engineering orientation or an arts and sciences orientation, or something like that. Sometimes it's just a general freshman one, sometimes it's broken down by major. Sometimes this costs money. Again, I do not remember if I had paid this or not, but I definitely had friends who had to pay orientation fees, and they can be anywhere from like $30 to like $300. And again, something you cannot get out of, something they're gonna expect you to find the money to pay for, and it does get really, really frustrating just because, I'm not gonna lie, orientation can suck sometimes. Some orientations are absolutely horrible. Granted, one of my best friends and my roommate I met on the very first day of orientation. There are some good things that can come out of orientation, but some of them suck, and yet you're still paying for it. I don't know why that can't just be part of your tuition, but or part of the dorm fee or something like that, but here we are, $300 down the drain more. Or maybe it wasn't down the drain. I made some friends out of it, but that's okay. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe down below, and leave me any other comments on videos you'd like to see from me in the future. I will see you all next time. Have a great day. Peace out. Bye.